Welcome to Mitten Music. We had the opportunity to head up to Traverse City to see a show at the Alluvion. We had the opportunity to talk with the operations and booking manager, Matt McCalpin, and audio engineer, Tiff Falls.
Dude, who the heck are we talking to today?
Well, we've got Matt McCalpin from the northern part of the state. We got a chance to meet you, Matt, just before the Alluvion show that we went to, the Surfadelic event up in Traverse City.
Yeah.
So thanks for taking some time to talk with us.
Yeah. It's good to have a chance to talk a little more with you guys. You were interviewing other people that evening up at the Alluvion. And yeah, I appreciate what you guys are doing, out here going from different venue to different venue and talking to not just the artists, but other people involved in the venues. And like that at this time and this moment, like kind of shedding some light on the live music scene statewide. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man, these bands couldn't do it without people like you. Bands don't, if they don't have a place to play, then they don't have a voice to be heard somewhere. I mean, other than online. So in, face-to-face real life.
Yeah.
We appreciate you so much. People like anyone that works at a venue, whether you are the top guy or a bartender, or maybe you're the cleanup crew or whatever, it doesn't matter. If you are helping in any capacity, the way people can listen to music one way, shape, or form, we are all about that. It's the best. So you guys are like the unsung heroes.
So Matt, maybe you give a little bit of introduction about what you do at the Alluvion, and how you got started there.
Yeah, the Alluvion opened its doors officially in April 2023. It was like our first official show. And as you guys know from coming to the venue, it's not just the Alluvion in this space. It's a
Shared
part of
space.
a larger, cooperative building, which is like Traverse City just and some beautiful minds put together a cooperative building in Traverse City that kind of like checked all the boxes of like, what does the community want? What does the community need? So there's like a school in the building. There is a restaurant and cafe. There's affordable housing, co-working space, and then there's the arts portion of it, which is the Alluvion. I had a mutual friend and musician who I used to book shows with at the workshop in Traverse City. His name's Andrew Lutz, and he was very vital in getting the building started and then making sure that the Alluvion, there was a music venue as a part of it. And I was just kind of following along as they were building the building, like literally. And then I saw it start to come together. The team was doing like some initial crowdfunding and like fundraising before everything came together, to get like PA speakers and cameras and like all the stuff that's in place now. And so honestly, I kind of feel like I got in touch with Andrew and started showing up at the building because I was like, before this space, even before the pandemic, I was a broken record to a lot of my friends and musicians when I moved back to Traverse City of like, we need a venue that's different than what exists now, and it was like Matt constantly being like, if I had $1 million, like this is the venue I would create. And I never was given $1 million, but this place was starting to be built. And I knew that they were looking for more people to build the team up.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of like showed up when it was just concrete and drywall and was like walking through, just trying to learn more. And then one thing led to another, and I found myself in a room kind of talking to the large team. And I'm a musician first and foremost, and I think that's um, probably true for everybody on the team is a creative and musician. And so like it was, a lot of stuff I had to learn, but a lot of stuff I had that perspective. So I think that's what
Sure.
you're trying to build is like, you know, for musicians by musicians type of thing. And then it's just developed into what it is today.
Yeah. So you basically take the lead on the operations and the booking side, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So you kind of alluded to earlier that maybe you had done some booking in the past. Did you have some experience leading into maybe not booking a venue, but booking musicians?
Actually, only from the perspective of a musician
Okay.
working with venues. So I was on the other side, as like a just gigging and touring and like independent artists. There was a
Mhm.
time when I was like working with like an agency a little bit, but really, yeah, just from that perspective of like looking, working with venues as an artist.
Cool.
Okay. So that's I mean, you do have a good perspective of what the artists are looking for in a venue when
Yeah.
you have that other perspective. So that probably helps you relate better, I would think, to that side of it.
From what I recall, before Matt answers anything, like I can appreciate what you've done. Musician first, have been in bands, now working, we'll call it in the industry, in the, behind the scenes, whatever. I feel like a lot of people we talk to, it's the reversal of that, where they would they would have loved to have been in the band, they just never did. Like myself, like I've been in like some freaking junior high, college bands or whatever, but I like getting into the music industry, understanding it, but having that experience beforehand, already being in a band is awesome. Like you brought, like I could just myself going to the venue, I was like, this is set up so cool. Like there was thought behind this. This is awesome. So I don't know. Maybe that played into it. Maybe it didn't. All that to say, I can very much appreciate where you're coming from, because that I don't think that's people in your shoes. They haven't always been in a band prior. Maybe they are in a band now, or they got into a band after they got a job in the industry. But yeah, I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. It is really interesting, and I don't know how often it happens. It comes up all the time where you maybe are in conversation with somebody who has a lot of experience working in this industry, but then you realize that they're missing that perspective, and it's usually just me kind of like being able to put myself in the
The
shoes of
shoot,
the artists.
sure.
And it still happens all the time where I'm like, well, think about it from this perspective. But on the flip side of that, I'm still learning the other side of it
Yeah,
every day. Like there's still a lot
sure.
to be learned. But yeah, I do think it creates, like you said, I think it does create a little bit of like organic thoughtfulness.
Sure.
Like even if we don't even realize we've made a decision based on that
I
perspective,
think
we
that's
are.
what I'm thinking. You might not even realize it at all. It
Yeah.
happens. It happens better the way it does than if you didn't have all that experience. It could have been just some, and we wouldn't know either way. But
Yeah, and I
I'm
think
happy for you.
it's funny too. Some of it's funny because I started like my first few weeks there, I was spending a lot of time like designing the sound panels and like making sure the room sounded good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that like some people were a little caught off guard by like that. Like he's still up on a ladder, like
Dinking
placing the
around.
panel perfectly. I'm like, yeah, it's got to
Yeah.
sound good. And then
Yep.
they're like, well, who's the first person you would hire and why? And I was just like immediately like a dedicated sound engineer, like
Wow.
someone
Yeah.
who is we can't like hire someone in different every time. Someone who really knows the space and the gear and can like kind of like get seasoned into the room. And
Tiff, we talked to Matt a little bit, and kind of gave us an insight that he said, one of the focuses of the Alluvion that he wanted was somebody kind of dedicated to the sound. It was an important part of the piece of the puzzle there to the venue. And you were the person to bring in to kind of lead that. So how did that come about?
Well, I was fresh out of the NMC audio tech program, the community college that's up here.
Okay.
And I heard that there was this new venue looking for an events manager, sound engineer, and I just was like, well, let me just see if this might work. There's a lot of awesome engineers in the area, so I was like, well, throw it in, see what happens. And the only person I knew Matt from before, because actually I was working at the Workshop Brewery and I did sound and booking there, and I booked his band there. And that's when I had met him first, but we didn't really, connect outside of that. Sure. And then Jeff Haas, I also knew from the workshop. It was a really great way to just connect with a bunch of people and get networked in the city. So I put my name in, and they did interviews, and I was like, all right, let's just see if this works. And they called me back and were like, you're the one to do it. I was like, aww, sweet, let's do this. Let's see what happens. So it's been kind of incredible, an incredible journey.
Was that?
That was July of 2023.
Ooh, yeah.
So they were still fresh.
Yeah. So you were like right there, because we were talking to Matt. Jeff and I didn't realize it feels like the Alluvion has been around longer than it actually is. For whatever reason, we hear about it a lot. I don't know. So that's cool. You were there from the beginning.
So close to, it was before the wood slats in the back, before the lights, before the stage. Dang. All of it. We actually, I always mention Matt, myself, and the guy who actually put that wall together had to carry those super long wood slats individually, 4 at a time, up the stairs in the middle of summer from downstairs in the parking lot, because it would not fit in the elevator. So I'm like, this is truly a labor of literal sweat and love.
We will have
and
pictures.
I'm very proud of that. Yeah. Yeah.
You guys have a freaking fantastic I'll call it the backstage of the venue.
Yeah.
So cool. I was blown away how cool it was. You walk, if you're in the venue and you walk into if you're trying to get to the green room, you walk past the sound room, and it's this big room, it's a control center, some 2A glass. You got all different monitors on different stuff, all the gear, I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
I loved it. And then you got the sound booth in the actual venue for the mics and everything. So it's that. I was just very impressed. It was so cool.
Yeah, it's it's a tight space, but I'm
made it work, man.
The way everything's positioned to, again, prioritize the production quality first and foremost, because it's not set in stone, but in my mind, if the bands are killer and everybody is happy with what they're doing, and then you prioritize great sound, then everything else should in theory fall into place, in theory.
Right. Yeah, the music, obviously it's a music venue, but that you put a lot of intent into it up front, which makes the result a lot better. And I could tell you, the show we went to, the sound was awesome. It was really excellent.
Fantastic.
Now, it's a small room too. So for people who don't know or haven't been to the Alluvion, how many people actually is the maximum capacity in there?
Yeah, so it's interesting because you guys attended a standing room show, which is only one of probably 4 or 5 different iterations that room can be. It's funny how every day or night it changes.
Yeah.
Because the chairs or tables are not set in place. We can move them out, move them back in, rearrange them. So for the show that you guys were at, a standing room rock show, it's 180.
Ooh, I was going to guess 185.
I was going to actually guess a little bit less, but it was
185 was my thinking.
Yeah.
Yep, and that was sold out that night. So that was like what that was. You guys standing in there,
Yeah.
180 people just
It was packed.
around the bands. And when it's seated, like a fully seated auditorium style show, and we bring the chairs out, that's 150.
Yeah.
And then we have another basic format, which is like club style, which is like our Monday funk nights, our Thursday jazz nights. There's tables and like cocktail tables.
Okay.
There's like food on those nights. So that's a little less. That seats, like if everyone's sitting, which you can stand, it's pretty free form at those, but that's 80 seated. So like it really depends on the vibe of the show, which is cool to like shape it to customize whatever's happening. But it does change the sellable ticket capacity and like the amount of people we can fit in there.
Sure. Yeah, which makes sense. So it gives you the opportunity to make the room still feel full, depending on how many people are there and the type of show you have. So
yeah, and that's a really good point about that, because sometimes, I mean, you guys came on just like a full out, sold out, crazy awesome night, and they're all pretty well attended. But sometimes, for whatever reason, a show is lighter in attendance or ticket sales. But we look at those and we customize the room. So no matter what, it never feels awkward.
That's cool.
For the artists.
Smart.
Like, we'll connect as a team down to the last minute of like, where are we at on ticket sales? And we'll make sure
moving the tables around accordingly and this, that, the other thing.
So if you have a lighter attended show, you could still make it feel like really energetic.
Like it's full.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. That's cool.
So I was really actually surprised. I don't know why, but I thought the Alluvion had been around a lot longer.
So did I.
And it's only almost 3 years, right? So I don't know if
you're
that's
younger than us.
I've been hearing about. I don't know if that's just because I've heard of it so much and it had so many good reviews, or what the deal is. But I just thought it had been around so long, and that's pretty impressive after the pandemic as well, to have such good momentum and reception in a new venue. Why do you think that is? Is it just because the community was so around it up front and building that?
Yeah, I think so. And also, like I said, there was this gap to be filled. Traverse City is a really interesting town. Like I call it a little big town because it's like, it is small, but it's popular and growing and like has all these big city things about it. And then on the flip side, there's like the beaches and the campgrounds and like the beautiful nature. So it's really interesting. And there's large venues, like we have incredible larger venues, Deno's, like Milliken Auditorium, and then the City Opera House, of course.
Yeah.
But like those are much larger in capacity. And then on the flip side of that, you have like breweries or restaurants, bars that are doing music, but it's like, it's not their focal point. They're just like bands in a corner. Like Workshop has a stage and sound system, but even then it's like smaller. There was nothing in the middle like that existed. And I think also like what we're talking about, like the intention behind it, like really, really putting a lot of thought into it, because we're not a bar or restaurant, but we also don't have like 600 tickets to sell. So I think it makes for this kind of unique middle space that really Traverse City hasn't had, like I can recall. So I think it just kind of was like a much needed space.
What would you say is the biggest venue in your area, Traverse City? Would it be the casino? Would they be like the big place that a show might take place?
Yeah, the casino is quite large depending on like what room you're in.
Okay.
For sure. Those can be big, and those can like bring in like larger touring names too. We used to have a place called Streeters.
Streeters.
And that was like very large. Like we opened for Parliament Funkadelic there, and it was like packed. It was a big room, like kind of like the intersection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe a smaller version of the intersection.
Sure.
And that's not around anymore. I could list like several great venues that this
that are-
town has lost,
Oh,
just for whatever reason, that are like legacy.
Yeah.
And there was just kind of nothing for a while. But the City Opera House in Milliken Auditorium, I think Milliken's close to 400, and the City Opera House is like 700, maybe less.
Okay.
But those are like, you can't stand up and dance even if you wanted to in those venues. And then of course there's Interlaken, which is like
Yeah.
a whole
Yeah.
different beast.
Yeah, that
Some-
makes sense.
Yeah. So, Matt, you guys, what is your kind of your focus, and how do you approach bringing in artists? Because you mentioned jazz. Jazz is I think a big focal point for you guys. And then how else do you kind of go about targeting, the different evenings and genres and stuff like that?
Yeah, that is kind of what's also unique, maybe, or interesting about the Alluvion, because it's so broad by design. For better or for worse, we are accommodating, like, and it's not just live music. Like, there's community events here. We rent the space out. Like, there's other creative arts, like non-performance arts, but there's like storytelling and stand-up comedy and like film screenings, all sorts of stuff.
Cool.
So it's a huge array. And then like music is definitely the focal point, but there's not any really one specific genre that we are tied to. But jazz is like, I think jazz, if you're going to take on jazz, whatever that word means, it's such a broad thing, just that genre, from like standard traditional jazz to like what modern jazz is now.
Jazz fusion.
Yeah, exactly. So and we also have like the Alluvion Jazz series was a series that has allowed us to bring in like major internationally touring acts. And so like that really put us on a lot of people in the jazz world's radar by having artists like, Joshua Redman or Christian McBride, Nate Smith. But that genre, I think, is it's such a spectrum, and it fits nicely in our room because it can fit kind of that club style format where the bar is open, or it can fit the auditorium style. But as you know, from being at like the Super Nuclear Surfadelic show, like sometimes we just throw down a crazy rock show.
Sometimes it's just packed and crazy awesome, and just like you gotta make sure you're not bumping into someone. You're opening the door to get in.
Yeah,
it was,
I love that.
dude, that show was bonkers.
It was crazy.
It was so fun.
And what's
We had
crazy
balls
is
flying.
the next morning, for instance, there's like a singing bowl, like workshop, calming class going on, and it's so funny.
Nice.
I'm aware of this at any given moment, but some people might not realize.
Yeah.
And then like the night before, it was maybe like a classical show, and then like it's funk music. There's a lot of folk music that happens here, so really nothing's off limits. My whole thing as a musician and music lover is like, if it sounds good, it is good.
Yeah.
If it's genuine and good, then we're gonna try and make it happen.
That's awesome. I feel like that's how this podcast has helped me to understand music better. Appreciate it all. If someone's trying and like, it's cool. It's cool. There's a spot for them anywhere, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Yeah, and you're doing things like, like you said, bringing in a Super Nuclear, and I think you guys have done that several times with Matt, and brought him in, and he just adds another element to the show that's different than you're going to get if we would have just saw that show. It would have been, I'm sure it would have been an excellent show by itself, but it just adds that another dimension, especially in a small room like that. It's pretty neat. How did you get connected with him and what he's been doing?
Yeah, he's been in Traverse City for a while, and I think I'm just really into like 70s funk and soul and like music, vintage music. And so like those liquid light shows are just have always been something I've been intrigued by and love. So I think I like caught word of this guy who's in Traverse City just like doing real liquid light shows, and if anyone doesn't know, Super Nuclear, he's like a visual artist, and he basically comes into the Alluvion and makes the place look like a lava lamp with like various screens and like he has digital elements, but he also does like the real hands and ink, like real 60s, 70s liquid light shows. And I basically just asked him to come into the space before we were like really quite off the ground. And it was apparent to me when we met, like Matt is like, I'm not going to have to like nudge him to like, do something cool. Like he is a go-getter and he makes cool stuff happen. And that's why he has such a great following. And he's not shy to be like, okay, this will work. And like, and that's, I love working with people like him, especially just in general, but at the Alluvion, to where it's like your vision is so like clear and like you're so proactive in like making it happen. Like I'm here to just like kind of give you the space and
like bringing solutions to the tables, not problems. Like he's not gonna, he's not a complainer. I can't imagine he's a complainer. Like, hey guys, this sucks. Blah, blah, blah. He's bringing solutions. Like, hey, I want to do this. I'm going to do this. We're going to do this.
Yeah, he's like, getting there at like sometimes. This show he didn't show up as early, but sometimes he's in there at like 9-10 a.m.
Yeah,
he's just like, I'm like, just set up. Let me know what you need. Like we help him out as much as we can, but. Yeah, having a visual artist in tandem with bands has always just been a huge love for me. And like he also, the thing to note about Matt is he has incredible taste in music. He loves like the psychedelic stoner rock, anything like Sabbath, Black Sabbath oriented, King Gizzard, all that kind of stuff. And so he also curates those lineups. Like he connects with those bands together. And so like he's connecting me to them and we're just like accommodating the whole thing, which is like, not many people will do that just on their own, like with that sort of bravery and skill set.
Right. Yeah. That's cool.
I love getting them in there.
And I will say, you guys have a very cool green room. The
best we've seen, literally.
I will say it's not going to have like the long legendary character to it, like a venue that's been on for years and years, right? But you guys did a really good job creating a unique space for those artists as well. And I appreciate you letting us utilize that space to do some of those interviews. So.
I feel like bands get to the Alluvion, they're like, oh, breath of fresh air. We get a cool, good, spacious green room. Like, I have to imagine that. They walk in there and they're like, oh, so cool. This is big.
Yeah, man, it is. And, a lot of artists, we're working with artists, local, regional, national, it's like I said, all across the board. Like, but no matter what, they come in and you can be unsure of what you're going to get or road weary, coming off the road. And we're trying to create an experience for people of all levels, no matter where you're at in your career or where you're coming from. And, again, like the thoughtfulness, that green room was like one of the first things that was designed. It was like they already knew that was going to be one of the coolest spots in the building because of the windows and it overlooks the river. It's where like the name of the venue comes from. An alluvion is like a kind of like rippled deposit of land that comes off of like a river bank or like water. There's lots of water elements.
I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah, that's neat.
So that was like
sounds
huge.
Really cool too. Alluvion.
Yeah.
Alluvion.
I don't know who came up with it, but that's sort of the meaning. And it was going to be called the Eighth Note because it's on 8th Street. But like, I think there's probably about 100 eighth notes across the world.
Yeah, you get lost in the mix.
Yeah, somebody threw down Alluvion, and like it just makes sense with us being like right overhanging the river right there.
Alluvion is cool. It's like it's memorable. Like
Mhm.
I've never heard anything even remote. I didn't even know what the word alluvion meant until you explained it.
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
heard of it before.
And we should do a better job of like explaining that because it is pretty cool. I can't take credit
Yeah.
for it, and I wish I
Yeah,
knew
it's all good.
who actually came up with it. But I am glad that they switched it at the last.
Yeah,
minute.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, whoever you got to pass along the high five to, do it.
So Matt, what's some of the stuff that's coming to the Alluvion? Let's just say over the next few months or so. Any highlights there?
Yeah, the jazz series. We have a world music series, which is like really cool, like world music, like anything's fair game.
Yeah.
Not like American music. It's
Yep.
like we just had an Italian folk group that people just loved that came last weekend. But within that series, we landed a group called Ladysmith Black Mambanzo. And if you're familiar with Paul Simon,
Oh yeah.
the Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes or like the Graceland album, there's those
Yep.
African choruses in the background.
Oh,
That's Ladysmith. It's
that's cool.
an 11-piece, it's all male African ensemble who do like
11?
harmonies, and they do like dancing and like chanting.
Whoa,
So it is that group from the Paul Simon album.
that's
And they
cool.
tour the world, and that's coming up March 13th. We have 2
So
shows,
random.
and they're both sold out. And I can't wait. I really don't know exactly what to expect other than
Yeah, for sure.
I know what it sounds like a little
But
bit.
how do you make a whole show out of it? Like, hour long or whatever.
Yeah, and like that's going to be crazy, and that's like that's a fun part of the job is like it's a whole crew.
I'm
I think
so
it's 13
jealous.
total. They're coming to stay in a hotel, and like they're going to be in that green room that you guys were in, and
right.
just like
That is cool.
I
am jealous. I want to work at the Alluvion.
We try and do stuff like that to where it's like I don't even know like what kind of music are you into, but you should check this out because it's going to be you're going to be like so close to the performance because it's such an intimate room. So I'm excited about that. And then also in March there's Branford Marsalis, who's a huge name in the jazz world, but he's also like played with Sting and the Grateful Dead. He's a saxophone player, brother of Wynton Marsalis, but like an incredible legend, living legend in the jazz world, is coming March 18th for 2 shows in one night. And then we have May Erlewines coming.
We love her.
Yeah, May is very, she's Traverse City native, but she was very crucial and continues to play a role in the venue.
She's cool. She's a cool chick.
Yeah, that was the first show we ever did was with May, and I think she's been there in several different formats over the years. This is going to be her first like stripped down show, actually, believe it or not. She's always brought like big bands and like did like a dance night, but this is like I thought that it would be the other way around and she would kind of start maybe with a solo show and then move towards bands, but this is a duo show in April. And then, lots of stuff in May, and I would have to look.
Go to
our website and check it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's cool.
What's coming up?
Well, thanks for taking some time with us tonight.
Absolutely.
And it was great. We thank you again for the setup at the Alluvion for us, and to be able to do some interviews and enjoy a great show, and get to chat and talk to you a little bit about that venue. And
I really appreciate, like I said, what you guys are doing, going venue to venue, and just kind of shedding light on the Michigan music scene. It's super cool. And anytime you guys want to come to the Alluvion and interview someone or just catch a show,
heck yeah, we're there. We know where to go.
Appreciate it.
Right
Thank
on.
you, sir. It was good meeting you again.
Yeah. Good to see you guys.
If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe. And also check out our website, themittenmusic.com. Sign up for future information. And also check out our social clips on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Make sure to tune into our next episode to figure out where we're going next in Season 5.